The CIAA championship game is set. You have North champion 9-1 Virginia Union versus Southern champ 8-2 Fayetteville State. This is Fayetteville State's what? 5th straight appearance in this game. Only one victory over Chowan, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get into this. First of all, I was completely wrong because I just knew for sure that Virginia State was going to win that game and they were going to go to the championship game. But honestly, this may not be the worst thing in the world because now that I'm looking at it, with Union going and winning the North, I pretty much believe that Union is going to beat Fayetteville State. Fayetteville State is a team that has struggled to score points all year. And honestly, I think one of the things that has helped them out is being in the Southern Division, honestly. But on the other side, you have a Virginia Union team, which powered by Jada Byers, runs the ball up and down the field just about as good as anybody. And they have a pretty good scoring offense. That's the difference in this game. Union can play solid defense, and they can score points, and they can run the ball. Fayetteville State, they can play good defense, but they've struggled with scoring the entire season. Ultimately, that'll be their undoing. I have Virginia Union winning the CIAA championship game for the first time in a long time. Shout out to them because, listen, next year Bowie will be back in Salem. But, that's neither here nor there. Right now, let's just focus on the here and now. And Union, in my opinion, will beat Fayetteville State and win the CIAA championship. Here's the most interesting part, though. It's what happens next. Now you have the playoffs. If Union wins, clearly they'll be in the playoffs. Virginia State still has a chance to possibly make the playoffs because they have some solid non-conference wins and they have a solid record overall, and they've been ranked. The issue for Virginia State is they've been, in my opinion, underrated the entire season. And so when you're underrated the entire season and then you don't make it to the championship game, it becomes that much harder to make it to the playoffs. But in my opinion, best case scenario for the CIAA is Union wins the championship because I think they have a better chance of doing well in the playoffs than Fayetteville State, even though they both got embarrassed last year in the playoffs. I'm hopeful that Union can do a much better this year than they did last year in the playoffs. On top of that, you have the Florida Beach Bowl versus the CIAC. And if Virginia State doesn't make the playoffs, which is dicey, then I think for sure they should be the CIAA's representative in the Beach Bowl. You got to have at least 6 wins. They have 8 wins. They have a win over Norfolk State, and they have another solid D2 non-conference win. They can run the ball just as well as anybody else. And they're a solid passing team, and they're a very good defensive team. On top of that, they have a solid fan base who I believe can travel well. And they have a good band. So I think Virginia State this year would be a great representative for the CIAA in the Florida Beach Bowl. And I think that they would win the Florida Beach Bowl. Because I'm looking at Benedict, and there's no doubt in my mind they'll be in the playoffs. But once again, the same thing with Benedict is, can they do much better in the playoffs than they did last year? So I don't think Benedict will be in the Beach Bowl. Which leaves either Tuskegee from the CIAC side. So the best case scenario for the conference, in my opinion, Union wins the CIAA championship, has a much better showing in the playoffs. Virginia State goes to the Beach Bowl and handles whoever the CIAC sends. Because I don't think they're sending Benedict. But even if they did, I'm rolling with the CIAA anyway. So there's that. Johnson C. Smith did have a good season. They won 7 games. The issue with Johnson C. Smith is I don't think they're ready for this yet. They had a good season, a very good season, first one in a very long time. But when you look at who they beat, they're a solid team, but yeah, I don't see it. Also, I don't know about the fan base for Johnson C. Smith and if they're actually going to travel. So there's the thing. Then, of course, you have my school, Bowie State, who, hey, we finished with a winning record. So we're qualified. We qualified to go to the bowl. But obviously there's 2 other teams with better records in Johnson C. Smith and Virginia State. And also, number 2, if I'm being 100% honest with you, the Bowie State fan base in terms of traveling to Florida. Listen, I'll be real. I don't want us to be embarrassed out there. And I'm not sure how many Bowie State students, fans, and alumni would actually make the trip to the game. I think the school that will give us the best representation in terms of fan base and showing up would be Virginia State. So I'm hopeful they go. Because not only will they have a good showing, but like I said, I don't see them losing. So anyway, CIAA Championship, Virginia Union versus Fayetteville State for Fayetteville's 5th straight time. I'm going with Union. I just think they're the better team. They can score more points. They can run the ball better. And they play just as good enough defense. It's been a very, very long time since they won it. They got to be hungry for it. Got to be. It's been a long time. You done got past Bowie. You done got past Virginia State. This is your time to win it. If they don't win it this year, when are they going to win it? They got, they need to capitalize this year, and I think they will.